We have a very special guest joining us.
Joining us now is Natalina Focarelli of Forever Blue Shirts.
Hi, guys.
How are you doing today?
Hello.
Hi, how are you? I'm good. Thanks for having me.
No problem. So, Brendan, kick it off.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. And I read your goodbye letter to Henrik Lundqvist, and it was a great piece. And I feel like all Rangers fans could agree with that. So what did he mean to not only you as a fan, but to all Rangers and Rangers hockey?
Oh, well, thank you. I think it was definitely my favorite piece to write, but it was definitely the hardest. Just as I kind of said in the letter to him, he pretty much was Rangers hockey. I don't remember a team without him. I don't think a lot of us younger fans really know a team without him. And he really just was New York City. He was Rangers hockey. He did a lot for the city too, right? He started his own, his different things for children, his different charities. He worked really closely with the Rangers organization and their charity. So I just think, he was just seeing him out there in between the net, you just felt like you always had a chance that day. And no matter what the game was, no matter what was going on, he always showed up for us. So we're definitely going to miss him. It's going to be weird without him.
Yeah, definitely. He was just as impactful off the ice as he was on it. So really a pillar in the community for a long time, but all good things must come to an end. And now we move on to the future. But do you think another uniquely structured NHL season, obviously it's going to be 56 games, would stunt the growth of the Rangers' younger players such as Lafreniere, Kakko, and Edel?
Well, I think the Rangers are set up really for such an exciting next, even 10 years from now. We have so many young guys coming in, and then getting Lafreniere was just kind of the icing on the cake for us. I don't think it'll stunt their growth really in any way. I mean, if you watched the Rangers in the bubble, I remember tweeting out that our best player was Kakko. He was kind of coming into his own by then. And I think with guys like Zibanejad and the presence of Panarin and keeping Kreider was so important just because, the organization knew that we were going to have so many young guys coming in, and there's still so many even coming in. And Shesterkin's just, dipping his feet in after his first season. So I don't think it'll necessarily stunt their growth, hopefully. I think it'll be a challenge for them. But I think in the end, it'll be our veteran presence that kind of moves them along and helps them get situated with everything.
I wanted to say before you asked your last question, Brendan, is that my letter to Tavares is a bit different than your letter to Lundqvist. But anyway, we'll move on. Jesper Fast was a fan favorite. He was a guy that did the little things every single night for this Ranger team. Now he's on Carolina. Which Ranger do you think has the skill set to take over that role?
Well, I think first, Rangers fans, we have had a really rough 3 years, just losing guys left and right. I remember it was Zuccarello. I remember getting that, that tweet, that update on my phone and being in tears, and my whole family, we lost somebody in our family. So it's hard with any of them, just like with Fast and letting him go. But I think the guy has to be Brendan Lemieux. He was suspended going into the bubble, and it really, you could see that it hurt, our team. And getting him back was huge. And I think that he just does all the little things every night. He is ready to fight anybody. He's an instigator. He's a rough guy, but he's also got a lot of skill, just like Fast. Fast did all the gritty work, but he was also a really skilled guy. And he was just a guy that everyone, I feel looked to, and he could make that big play when they needed it. And I think that's going to be Lemieux for us. So I'm really happy that we kept him.
Brian, would you have to agree on that?
I would. I think that he's poised to take that step. And like she said, he's the guy that's going to instigate, and they missed his physical presence watching Jesper Fast get knocked around in that opening minute and then Carolina going down scoring. If they had him on the bench, he would have came out the next shift and set the tone and said, you're not going to be able to do this all the time. So he definitely has to fill that void.
You would have fought somebody right on the spot, probably. Next, so, there were rumors last year that Georgiev would get dealt. They had a 3-goalie system with Lundqvist. Obviously, they weren't going to move Lundqvist. And, this year, now you have a young tandem in Shesterkin and Georgiev. Do you think if he does play well that they'll move him, or do you think that smart decision would be to keep him around for as many years as possible?
I think it's interesting because for so long, the goalie position was kind of out of the question because we always had Lundqvist. So we never really had to worry about it. We always knew there were guys, in the background ready to come up. And we were always talking about when's Shesterkin going to come over? When's he going to come over? And then he finally did. And he has been so far everything that he's, has been hyped up to be. I've been saying for, the past year, I've been getting into little arguments with some friends on Twitter and stuff about Georgiev, because I just think that for me, I love the guy. I think that he's, proven that he can be in that goalie tandem with Shesterkin, and he can be that second guy when they need him to be. He really played incredible, I think, this past year. He won us some really great games. He had some shutouts that were really important. And I think that, with guys like Tyler Wall and all the goalie prospects that we have, I think it's easy to get, to look into the future and want something new. And we're always wanting that new guy, that younger guy, whoever it might be. But I think it'll be interesting, of course, to see how he plays in this role, not having Lundqvist anymore there. But I think, for me, he really impresses me, and I would be happy to have him, him and Shesterkin for a long time. I feel like with the Islanders, they're showing how a goalie tandem has been, kind of that new trend that's happening in the NHL. And I think that regardless if it's Georgiev and Shesterkin or one of our younger guys in Shesterkin, I think we'll be set up for a really long time. And Rangers fans kind of need to just bask in that a little bit, and not worry too much about it. And remember that it's a good problem to have right now, the situation that we're in with our goalies.
Yeah, I mean, to hear you guys, this is a problem you guys, the Ranger fans have, and the Rangers have. Oh, we're moving on from Lundqvist to another superstar guy. The Rangers couldn't get anyone to stop a puck for years, and they couldn't get one guy, let alone two. And now, yeah, I think Ranger fans can take a nice breath, because they could look at how bad it could actually be, and they're okay.
Well, then if they have one that they thought was going to be really good, gave him this really long contract that didn't pan out.
Humpty Dumpty.
The name's slipping from my head, yeah.
Humpty Dumpty. You know how funny it is, though, to have your own radio show calling yourself Humpty Dumpty to make fun of You have to, at that point in your career, he made so much money, you have to laugh at it. But no, the Rangers are pretty set. The last question, though, so Zibanejad scored 41 goals last year. And do you think that could be attributed to Kreider missing some time? I know Kreider was in the lineup more often than he wasn't, but do you think that contributes? And do you think with Kreider back that you'll see Zibanejad rack up more assists than he did last year?
Well, I'm really happy that, Zibanejad is starting to get recognition from, the NHL, and he's starting to, be recognized as one of the top centers in the game, because I really think that he is. I think he had a breakout year this year with Panarin, and even with Kreider not there, I think, of course, that did play a role in it, because, he was more of that playmaking guy. And this year he really took on that goal scoring, especially, that big game where he had the crazy, 5 goals. And I mean, that was just a crazy all around experience for all of us Rangers fans. But I think, his role might adjust a little bit. Hopefully we can see a captain's a C on his chest at some point. That's what I'm hoping for. But I think regardless of whatever role he plays in, I think he's going to score a lot for us. I think he's just always, in the right spot at the right time, getting himself open, making plays, and finding the back of the net. So I think maybe, his production goal scoring wise might be a little bit affected with Kreider in the lineup more steadily. But I think regardless, he's going to continue to have an impact on this team.
You mentioned captaincy. Do you think Zibanejad should get it, or do you have somebody else in mind?
I think the debate right now between Rangers fans is Kreider or Zibanejad. Kreider, I was a huge proponent of giving Kreider another contract, so I'm really happy that we kept him. I think that his presence and his style of play, you just don't see Kreiders in the league everywhere, and it's important to hold on to one when you do get one. So I don't know. I'm leaning towards Zibanejad. I don't know what really the preference is. I think if you polled Rangers fans, it would be a really close split. But I just think that the way that Zibanejad carries himself and the way that he just lifts, everyone around him, and I think that the younger guys really respect him, but as well as Kreider. So, you could kind of say the same for both of them. So it'll be interesting to see. Hopefully, I don't know if we'll do it this year, because it's going to be an interesting year with hopefully the 56 games starting soon. But, I think it could be a toss-up between either one.
Yeah, Rangers fans are definitely split, because I'm on the Kreider bandwagon. I think it could be him. I just how long he's been there, everything he's done for the franchise. I feel like he gets along with everybody. But so does Zibanejad, though. You can't go wrong, which is a good problem to have.
Him captain, though, they have to trade him to the Lightning in a couple of years.
No, don't say that. Callahan, that ripped my heart out.
Well, Callahan,
she fell for Zuccarello. That's how I fell for Callahan.
Callahan, then McDonough.
It's really, I don't know what it is about. Yeah, I don't know what it is. But, and then you have a guy like Panarin, too, who, if he was there a little bit longer, he'd automatically be in the captaincy and, race. So it's interesting to see where they are, because they have so many young guys. I think the Rangers are the youngest team, average wise in the league, or one of. So it's just interesting because then you have these big presence, these big names like Panarin and Kreider and Zibanejad. So it'll be interesting.
Would both
Definitely will be
shocked if they don't name a captain?
I think, if anyone ordered jerseys with this and put the C on it, those people might be a little bit upset about it. I'm ordering a Strome jersey. I don't know. He's my favorite.
Put the C.
Yeah, Strome is my favorite guy. I don't know
really.
why, but I know people ask me why. They're like, Strome, like there's all these big names, and I'm like, I just love him. I think it's always been because every time I've defended him, I've gone out and defended his play, or I've gone out and defended giving him another contract. He's always pulled through. He's always come through with a big game like that game. And I'll be like, see, told you. I remember tweeting out like one time, I was like, I think Strome like goes on my Twitter and he looks at it, because every time I defend him against somebody, he like comes out and has some massive big game for us. And I'm just like, yeah, he has my back. He knows. So.
Well, keep tweeting it then, because we need him to perform at a high level next season. So one thing before we let you go, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. Playoffs or no playoffs for the Rangers next season?
I'm going playoffs.
All right, I like the optimism.
Yeah.
I'm hoping so too.
I think with that breakdown, I know it's going to look a little different, that our like division, whatever that is, the USA division is like so competitive. Like I always feel like that's like the craziest, division to be in, with just like all those heavy hitting teams. But I don't know. I have a good feeling about it. I remember seeing a tweet. Someone said something about Rangers winning a cup around like 2025. And I was like, I can get behind that.
That would be really nice.
Yeah.
I think I replied to that. I saw it too. And I was like, hey, 2025 is not too far away. I'm in support of that theory.
Yeah. So I hope so, but I think playoffs.
Yeah, I really hope so. And I think if it's another expanded postseason, then they will be in it. But like you said, that division is they're unfortunate their place there, and the teams in the West are probably licking their lips that they're not. But Natalina, thank you very much for joining us. We really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, guys.